So we'll start in standing. We're going to do a little joint mobility to ease you in so you can come to standing on your mat. Quite a bit of sun in here this evening. And then place your feet so they're about hip distance apart, having a gentle bend in the knees, and we'll just find a gentle sway forwards and back throughout the hips and throughout your arms. So it's this kind of fluidy quality to the arms and the knees, settling into the stillness of the standing position. And as you do this, have a little feel out through the soles of the feet so that you can feel the contact throughout the soles of the feet touching the mat or the ground. Have a gentle rock forwards and back so you can find an even quality throughout the balls of the feet and the heels of the feet. And then from here, gently rock the upper body forwards and back until you settle into a still position, one that feels just right. So with these joint mobilizations, we're going to start with the head, so you can drop your chin down towards your chest and just very lightly roll your chin up towards your left shoulder, as if you're drawing a semicircle or a smile with the chin. And slowly drawing your chin down towards the chest, and then back up and over to the right side, so that your right ear kind of draws towards the right shoulder. And once you've reached the edge of that smile, or the crescent moon shape, very gently guide your chin back towards the chest, and then up over to the left side. And we'll continue doing this just a few more times as you find that ease of movement throughout the neck. The neck can get really tense throughout stress and throughout maybe your job if there's quite a bit of typing. Generally the neck gets tight. Even after a night's sleep it can get a little tight. So I like to do this in the morning. I recommend doing a little bit of this in the morning, a bit in the evening to wind down. So just doing a few more of this smile crescent moon shape, and feel free to close your eyes so you can really tune into the feeling, that sensation and release of the neck. I apologise if you can hear my husband there greeting the puppy. I think he's forgot that I'm doing this, so I'll give him a word if he gets noisy. I'm coming back to centre. I'm drawing circles with the shoulders this time, so you can take a few rotations back. Doing these large circles throughout the shoulders. And then taking a few rotations forwards to the opposite direction. Allowing that release to move across the back of the shoulders and the lower neck. We'll do that twice more, turning the other way, so rolling the shoulders back. And then rolling your shoulders forwards 3 times. Having a little shake out through the arms. Move the arms, loose little shake. And then take a slow breath in through the nose. And as you take a long sigh, allow the upper body to kind of surrender and drop throughout the arms. So there's full surrender release. Placing the hands to the hips, take a slightly deeper bend into the knees, and then visualizing the pelvis kind of rolling around the head of your thigh bone. So there's this fluidy motion around the pelvis and the head of your femur. You're drawing a circle around the head of your femur. We'll take 3 rotations in one direction, moving slowly so that you can feel into the movement and be curious of the movement. The hips are really ever changing in pregnancy. So see if you can hone in and be a little curious so you find this freedom of movement at your hips. And once you've done 3 in one direction, we'll take 3 in the opposite direction. Feel free to explore the pace and rhythm of this movement and the size of your circle. And switching one more time for 3 in the opposite direction. Moving back to center. This next one's a little balance pose, so we're going to draw circles from one hip. And depending on how your balance is feeling today, you can either draw these circles with your big toe, finding that rotation within the hip joint from the leg this time, or start to lift your knee up and then draw a circle with the thigh bone inside the hip socket, feeling into how that right side's moving. And once you've done 3 in this direction, making sure the movement's coming from the hip and not the knee. So you could keep that foot flexed to keep the knee stable, initiating the movement from the pelvis. And 3 in the opposite direction. Nice and any pop. Sometimes my hips make little popping sounds. And allowing that foot to come down. And we'll do the same on the left side. So either drawing a circle with your toe if your balance is feeling a little wobbly today. So you'll still get that rotation in the hip joint. Or starting to lift the knee up and having a little explore of your balance. Flexing the foot if you're lifting. And finding that rotation at the hip joint. 3 in one direction. And then 3 in the other direction. We'll come back to standing. And this time we're going to create this shape with your hands. They're kind of like 2 bridges. And zip the fingertips together. And this shape comes at the top of the knees, and we're going to squeeze the thighs together. Place your kind of, it's called tiger's mouth in Qigong, so you can call it that. Place your tiger's mouth on the thighs, and then squeeze the knees together, squeeze your hips together, and take a little bend into the knees, as much as feels comfortable, kind of just right space. As you hug the knees in, we're going to take 3 rotations in one direction. And then 3 in the other direction. And just doing that one more on each side, 3 in the opposite direction. Keep hugging the knees in, the thighs in. And switch, 3 in the other direction. And coming back to standing. Final joint mobility release. We're going to do the ankles. So you can lift up through one ankle and take 3 slow, steady, mindful rotations on one side. And 3 in the other direction. And that foot to plant back down on the ground as if you're stepping into wet sand, finding that ground in. And drawing the 3 circles on the other side. And switch, 3 rotations. And coming back to center. So pregnancy is a very fluid state. You've got a lot more fluid running through your body, and these joint mobilizations can be a really nice thing to kind of sprinkle into your day if you can try and incorporate that. That'd be a good thing to do. So before we come down to the mat, we're going to do a little breath work with the movement of your arms. So we're going to keep this position throughout the legs, feet hip distance. Now turn your palms to face up towards the ceiling. And find a soft bend into the knees so you can feel the muscles of your legs kind of switch on and engage. The soft bend into the knees and the steadiness throughout the feet. And with the palms facing up, take a moment to either close your eyes or gaze down at the ground to find that steadiness and stillness. That centering that we found in the meditation. And from here, observe your natural breath as it is for a few moments. And observe any sensations throughout the palms of the hands. Any temperature, texture, and the subtle feeling of the air on the skin. Now taking a slow, conscious breath in through the nose. Slowly guide your hands up. And as the hands reach about the head area, just in front of the face, start to guide the palms down as if you're pressing onto water. So there's a slight resistance this time as you push the hands down. Once the hands reach about the waist, slowly turn the palms to face up so you feel that receptivity and lightness on the arms. And then moving against clear air, allow this lightness to lift up through the arms. Turning the palms to face down as if you're pushing on water, so this time feeling a little resistance as you guide your palms down. And we'll do this a few times with our active breath. Breathing in through the nose, feel the body expand, feel that lightness on the inhalation. And then really slowly breathe out through your mouth, through elongating the breath out as you slowly push against that water, finding that resistance under the hands. And as you slow down the breath out, it encourages you to find that grounding quality on the exhale and allows more space in the lungs for your inhale. Breathe in, feel the body expand. And slow breath out. Again, one more like this. We're going to take 4 more rounds, but for the first 2, doing an S sound on the exhale and just noticing if this encourages the breath out to be a bit longer. And then on the next 2, we'll do another sound. So breathing in naturally, and a slow breath in. And breathe out with the S sound as you push against the water. Just noticing if it's changed how you control your breath at all. Breathe in. Give the next inhale as it is. Inhale. Next exhale, we'll do blubber lips to release the exhale. Next exhale. And I particularly love this one during labour, so see if you can make friends with it now. Breathe in. Blubber lips, exhale. Excellent, now just a little shake. And we're going to come down to all fours. So you might like to, if you've got kind of delicate knees, you might like to place a little blanket underneath your knees. So as you come down to all fours, placing your hands about underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. So if you're familiar with cat-cow and you haven't done it for a while, be prepared for it to feel very different in pregnancy. You can't really do this shape too well, but it's the movements that we do will create a nice bit of spinal mobility. So before we bring the hands to face down, we're going to ease out the wrists a little. So you can lift your right hand up off the mat, taking a bend into the elbow, and then take a shake out through the right arm. So stimulating the arm and the wrist, the hands, waking it up. And then after this little movement throughout the wrists and the lower arm, bring the hand to a hover. Just placing that underneath the shoulder and bringing it to a hover, feeling that warmth throughout the hands and that aliveness of the right hand. And this will encourage you to find that distribution of weight throughout the right hand, so really spreading throughout the fingers, spreading throughout the palm. And we'll do the same on the left arm. You might notice a difference from one to the next. So taking a bend into that elbow, shaking out through the wrist, the forearm, and wake it up. And bringing this hand to a hover just above the mat as you spread out the fingers, feel a sensation in the hand. And slowly land it by your left hand parallel, about shoulder distance apart. Now taking a slow breath in through the nose, we're going to reach your heart forwards as you tilt your tailbone up. Now take a slow breath out through your nose as you start to lower your head and tilt your tailbone down. Just noticing the curve that your spine is moving into, whatever shape that is. At the end of your exhale, breathe in, allowing the spine to ripple back and towards that cow shape, heart forwards and tailbone up. And slowing down the breath out as you turn into the cat shape, that soft rounding of the spine. And continuing to move with your breath. As you move between these two poses, see if you can find that connection with your breath and your movement so that we're moving to the sound of the breath. And as we're doing this movement, if the wrists start to get a little sore, feel free to come down onto the forearms so you can place your hands towards one another and then find that subtle flow throughout the spine with the forearms down. Making sure there's lots of space for your bump. So you can take the knees as wide as they need to be to keep spaciousness for baby and bump. And two more like this, breathing in as you draw the heart forwards, tailbone up. And breathing out as you find that subtle doming in the spine. Move into the sound of your breath. And then going back onto your wrists if you move down to the forearms. And now drawing circles throughout the hips. So find that circular movement throughout the pelvis, like you did from standing, but now in an all fours position, and you'll feel quite a difference from the movement in this position. This can be a really nice movement to do in early stages of labour and sometimes even in active stages of labour. And it's one of the positions that helps encourage your baby into the optimal fetal position, so encouraging the baby's head to be down where we want it for birth. And feel really nourishing throughout pregnancy and labour. Make friends of this movement and start to explore the movement for yourself and for your body. So we want these poses to become a little toolbox for you to find comfort and ease in your pregnancy. Something you can go to when you need that little bit of nourishment. So see if you can close your eyes, find in your own experience, and explore the size and shape of the circles. Can you find a size of circle that feels really welcome for your body at the moment? And that sense of pleasure and enjoyment throughout the circles. So you're nourishing yourself and your baby. Visualize your baby in your womb having a little play around with this new space that you're creating. And then if you're a visual person, you might like to visualize a spiral moving out towards the very edge of the spiral as you gradually make the circles a little wider. And as you get to the edge of that spiral, switch in direction and slowly start to spiral the hips into the central part of your spiral, making the circles a little smaller and all the way back. And we'll do that one more time as you get to the very center of the spiral. Switch direction and very slowly start to spiral the hips to the larger circles. When you get to the largest part of your circle, we'll spiral back inwards and then slow and steady all the way back to the center of your spiral. And then easing your way to sitting on your heels for a moment and allowing the hands to rest on your thighs for a moment. So we're going to move in towards a low kind of warrior two stance. So we're going to keep that left knee down and then place the right foot out to the side so that you're creating this right angle position for the leg. If the knee is feeling a little sore, then place either a blanket underneath the knee, or you could fold up the side of your mat. And now placing the right forearm on the thigh and lift up through that left side to create a nice long stretch down the left side of your body. As you settle into the shape, allow the breath to be natural for a few moments and feel into that length of the side stretch. In pregnancy, as your baby gets bigger and bigger, it can become quite hard to breathe. It kind of takes up that space in the lungs as your baby pushes against them. So doing these side stretches can be really nice to stretch the intercostal muscles in between the rib cage and physically create more space for your lungs to expand. As you breathe in, come back to center. We're going to reach that right arm up, bringing that left hand to a little hover, and then stretch on the right side. Taking a slow breath in here. And as you breathe out, lower the forearm to the thigh. And inhale, sweep your left arm over. Breathe out, sweep your fingertips down. Inhale, sweep your right arm up, left to a hover. As you breathe out, slowing down the breath out, forearm to thigh. And inhale, sweep left arm over, finding that diagonal. Exhale, slowly sweep back. Inhale, right arm sweeps up. Exhale, forearm to thigh. And breathe in, sweep over. Exhale, lower. So this time we'll try the S breath and just see if it helps you elongate the exhale for 2 more rounds. So breathing in as you did. And as you breathe out, make an S breath sound, forearm to thigh. Inhale, sweep left arm over. Exhale, S breath. Breathe in, right arm sweeps. Longer S breath out, forearm to thigh. So doing one now with the blubber lips. Breathe in. Breathe out, blubber lips. You can kind of soften the cheeks, the lips, and the jaw. Really nice release with the jaw. Inhale, right arm up. Forearm to thigh, blubber lips out. Inhale, left arm sweeps. And blubber lips back. Really nice. So bring the right knee down. And then doing that same on the other side as you step the left foot out, taking that right angle on the left side. And we'll stay in that static position again for a moment. So forearm to thigh. Reach your right arm up and over. Just gently easing into the stretch to begin and allowing your breath to be natural. So keep the breath as it is. And you gently ease into the side of the body. And you observe your breath and be with your breath as you find it in this shape. You'll stay for a moment longer, seeing if you can land a little attention on the right side ribs and notice any subtle movement of the rib cage and the side body with your breath. Any subtle movement or no movement, just taking a little awareness there. And your next breathe in, slowly breathe in through the nose, sweep left arm up. And you breathe out, forearm to thigh. Inhale, right arm sweeps forwards and open. And exhale, sweep back. Breathe in, left arm up. Exhale, forearm to thigh. Can you start to synchronize breath and movement? Breathe in, right arm forwards and over. And exhale back. Final one with this style of breath. Breathe in, left arm. Exhale, forearm to thigh. Inhale, right arm sweeps over. And exhale back. So now taking it with the S breath exhale to encourage that length in the breath out. Breathe in. Long S out. Inhale, right arm over. S breath out. Breathe in. And S breath. Inhale. S exhale. The final one, this leg might be feeling a little sore and stronger now, so blubber lips this time. Breathe in. Blubber out. Breathe in. And out. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. Lowering back to your knees. And we'll head towards the sun salutation. So some of you might have got that link for the sun salutation, the modified ones, you might have practiced it. But I'll do this, and we'll probably just do one round, one on each side before coming down to the mat. So you can ease your way up, just moving mindfully, taking the time to come up to standing. And we'll make your way to the top of your mat. As you're at the top of the mat, place your feet about hip distance apart. Turning the palms out to the side, a little bend into the knees. And taking a moment to honour the size and shape of your bumps, just recognising the change in your body. Maybe you've warmed up in yoga and you're kind of forgetting you're pregnant. Sometimes we can do that in the earlier stages and get carried away. So just have a little check-in, recognising your size, your shape, honouring this baby inside you. And then setting the intention to move with a spaciousness throughout these poses, so that you're honouring this space, this kind of sphere of space around the baby. Move in with spaciousness. Breathe in, open the arms, reach up. And as you breathe out, take a soft bend to the knees, draw the arms wide. And the feet as wide apart as they need as you lower towards the mat. And onto the fingertips, keeping that space for your baby. And then keeping the left foot down, step your right knee back and lower the back knee to the ground. So you breathe in, reach your arms to the sky into low lunge. You draw your elbows wide and find that opening and space across the front of the body. And your exhale, lower the hands. And then ease the left knee back, so you're back in all fours. Breathe into cow pose. And breathe out to cat pose. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Making two more, move with your breath. And then start to shift your weight onto the balls of your feet. Take your knees as wide as they need to be to accommodate your bum. And as you press into the hands, draw the hips back and very slowly start to lift your hips towards the ceiling into down dog. So you might take a fairly wide stance throughout your feet to honour your bump and just feel into that spaciousness. Sometimes it can feel nice to bring the heels slightly in and toes slightly out. Just have a feel into the legs. Now gazing forwards. If you're feeling a little compressed, you can come onto the fingertips and step that right foot wide. So you're keeping that space for the bump as you step your foot wide. And we want to move really mindfully throughout the legs. So bringing the hips back, feeling the weight, move onto the back leg. And as you bring your hips forwards, feel the weight move onto the front leg, so you can lightly step that back foot forwards. Forearms come to your thighs, round into the feet. Inhale, circle your arms, reach up. As you exhale, hands to heart center. Take a moment to settle here with the left hand on the heart, right hand on the belly. Recheck in with the rhythm of your breath, the rhythm of the heartbeat. Reconnecting with your baby. And we'll do one on the left side. Breathe in, open your arms, find that spaciousness. And as you exhale, circle your arms wide, keeping that space for your bump as you lower. You can come onto the fingertips on the ground, keeping space in the lower body, and then ease your left leg back, lowering your back knee. Really press into the right foot to support you. Inhale, reach up to your low lunge. Allow the breath to be natural and steady in this shape. Lowering the hands down. Ease your right knee back. And this time coming back to the hip circles. So you can find the small circles or larger circles. What feels nourishing for your body at this moment? You might even want to take that spiral movement from large to small. And as you're finding this movement throughout the hips, can you move to the sound of your breath? As if your breath was the soundtrack to your movement. And see if you can find a little rhythm to the inhale and exhale through the nose. And coming back to center, tuck your toes under and drawing the weight back, press into the balls of the feet, slowly lift your hips high and step the feet wide so you've got lots of space in your down dog. We'll stay here for a moment longer, let the head be heavy for a moment. Allow the breath to be steady. Can you let go of any gripping or control to the breath? And find a spaciousness to your breath in this shape. If it feels too much at any point, you come to the knees for a moment. Now as you gaze forward, step the left foot forwards, keeping that width and space for the bump. Going onto the fingertips, draw the hips back, so this will really allow you to lightly step forwards. Hips come back to feel the weight move to the right foot. As your hips move forward, pressing onto the left foot, really lightly step the foot forward. So there's that weight transfer that helps you move with lightness. Nice to feel light in pregnancy. Moving the forearms to the thighs. You can have a little check in here. Sometimes it can feel a little dizzy on the way back up, so we have a little breather here. This can be welcome in the third trimester if you're not there yet. Press into the feet. Breathe in, circle the arms, reach up. And breathe out, hands to heart center. And come back to checking in with baby and bump. Right, left hand to the heart, right hand to your belly. Taking that little bend into the knees and a softness at the hips. And see if you can Soften throughout the chest and the belly so that you can feel the movement of your body moving into the hands. That ebb and flow of your body moving into the hands with the ebb and flow of your breath. And allow your breath to settle into just being how it naturally lands. You practice being with your breath, observing it as it is. No right or wrong. Just practicing being with this feeling. Connecting with your baby. As you breathe for 2. And nourish your baby with each breath you take. Nourish your baby with that unconditional love that already exists. Gently drawing the hands away from the body and turning your palms to face up. We'll come back to that opening exercise. Breathe in, turn the arms up, and in that lightness on the palms. As you breathe out through the nose, finding that little resistance beneath the palms as you slowly push the air from the lungs. Breathing in a lightness, a clarity. Receive the qualities of the in-breath. A slow, steady breath out, letting go of anything that you don't need. Anything you'd like to let go of. Breathing in lightness, clarity. Receive the in-breath, that nourishment. And breathing out as you let go. And so hands come down to the mat. We'll slowly ease your way down to the mat. So you can come down towards a seated position. We'll leave out the pelvic floor exercises today because we did quite a bit of chatting at the beginning, but we will be doing some pelvic floor for the next 3 weeks, so you'll get your fair share of that. So we're going to come down to do a little hip opener, and we'll take a version called Z pose. So you can either place your blanket underneath you, or if you're feeling comfortable, feel free to do this without a blanket. And we'll bring the legs into a little Z shape so that the left foot kind of cups that right knee, and then the right foot comes behind you. So Z shape for the legs. Now gently tiptoeing the fingertips forwards, just move into a space where you feel a mild amount of sensation on that outer right hip. So it's not too much and not too little. If as you move forward you feel a compression at the hip joint, then feel free to stay upright and tiptoe towards that left side. You could even stay upright if this feels enough for your hips at the moment. And taking a moment to ease your way back in. And bring the right hand over to the right side, about a foot to the right, coming onto the fingertips. And then inhale, sweep your left arm up and over. Breathe in back to center. Placing the left hand on the left knee. And then opening out to the right side. So in pregnancy, we avoid any closed twists, any compression on the belly. And this is an open twist to create complementing the spaciousness for your baby and bump. And that gentle twist to the back of the spine and an elongation up through the crown of the head. Take a moment to close your eyes and allow your breath to settle back to its natural rhythm. Can you encourage the facial muscles to relax? And softly unwind to center. You can bring the weight onto the hands just behind you and then easily move your legs over to the other side. So that right knee's forward and left foot back. And during your Z shape, you can tiptoe the fingertips forwards, maybe moving here, or explore that sensation as you walk the hands over towards the right side. Aiming to feel a mild amount of sensation around the right glutes and down the side of the thigh. Every one of your bodies is going to be very different. So if you don't feel any sensation, or you feel too much, have a little explore to find that just right space. And start to trickle your awareness down into the lower body. Can you send some attention in the lower body for that sense of grounding again? As you walk back up, step the left hand 1 foot to the left. Inhale, reach your left arm up and over. As you exhale, place your hand on your knee. On the right knee, so right hand to right knee, and then opening up into a nice spacious open twist, keeping that lift and length through the spine. Soften throughout the face, the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw and the mouth. And gently unwind back to center. So we're going to release out through the left leg. And coming down to that final pose, relaxation. If you're in the later stages of pregnancy, I recommend this for all stages to elevate your seat. So usually I place a few little blocks underneath, so we're in quite a tall seat. Maybe you've got a cushion to do this. So this is option 1, stacking a few little cushions and getting preferably about this height. See how it feels to come all the way down. We won't be lying down for long, but if it feels that you're reclined, aiming for a semi-reclined, then I recommend placing your cushion in between your legs and opting for lying down on the left side. So you can lie down with a blanket, maybe underneath that hip, if that feels a little sore, and then placing the cushion under, between the knees, left ear to the upper arm. You can allow that right hand to rest wherever it feels natural and comfortable. Resting on the left side, cuddling in with that cushion between your thighs. And allowing the eyes to close, finding that softening throughout the face. Allow the bones to be heavy, resting on the ground. And let go of any control to your breath. You observe your breath and let it settle back into that natural rhythm. Become aware of the subtle contact of the air on your skin. And invite your body to surrender and settle into this relaxation. Begin to scan out through the muscles of your face. And invite the forehead, the brow, the eyes to relax and soften. Imagine you're giving someone a soft, warm smile with the eyes. So there's that receptivity, openness and ease around the eyes. And then in that feeling, move down towards the cheeks, feeling the cheeks soften and ungrip, and the jaw soften and ungrip. You let the teeth lightly part and the lips lightly part and melt into a soft relaxation. A receptivity and openness across the face. As if you're smiling from the inside. Feel the natural rise and ebb of the in-breath. And the natural fall and flow of the out-breath. We'll begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. I'll save a little more time for relaxation next week. We had quite a bit of chatting today. As you wiggle the fingers and the toes, gently make your way up to seated. So you want to keep on that side and easily come back up, avoiding any kind of crunching of the belly. So there's that sidewards movement as you easily come back to center. And just taking a short moment of centering in your seat, you can place your hands to heart center. Take a moment to thank yourself for making the time for your yoga practice. Not only nourishing yourself, but nourishing your baby as well. It's a very special time. Thank you for joining me.